on WDET. I'm Robin Vincent. Detroit has a housing problem. But in this city, compared with others across the country, the issue isn't about a lack of housing. It's the fact that too many existing homes need critical repairs. Tens of thousands of Detroiters live in substandard housing. The city has spent tens of millions of dollars on home repairs, but that number isn't nearly enough to meet the need, which totals over $1 billion. What is the scale and scope of the home repair needs, and how did we get here? Brianna Rice is a civic life reporter at Outlier Media. She's among the reporters who worked on Outlier's Beyond Repair series. It explores Detroit's home repair crisis. Brianna, welcome back.
I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. First things first, how many Detroiters have home repair needs?
I mean, tens of thousands, like you said. This is a more than $1 billion problem. This is in every neighborhood pretty much in the city. In Detroit, we have big single-family, over 100-year-old houses. So I think a lot of these houses have ancient plumbing that they need repaired. There are roofs that can total more than $20,000, insulation, really big, expensive problems that touch kind of everyone. I mean, our average income in the city is $40,000. Most people cannot afford half their income to repair their home that year.
Sure, we're talking about some of these calamitous events such as plumbing disasters. What happens when you need a new roof because the one that you have is leaking? I want to play a clip of someone who you spoke to for this reporting series, Toya Watts, who's watched people have to leave the Island View neighborhood that's on Detroit's east side by Belle Isle because the cost of home repairs have been so high.
Lady down the street, she had to move out because she couldn't maintain the house with the needs she needed. And now, they rehabbed it. He sold it for $375,000 down the street from me.
Ouch. $375,000. So Toya is saying that people have had to sell their homes because of repair costs, and then richer folks come in, repair the home, and sell it for more money than any other house on the street.
It's true. I mean, some of these people that I talked to in Island View specifically, their, parents or grandparents bought these houses for $4,000, $12,000. Just within a generation or two, they have kept these homes in the family. So I think, it burns people. They really want to be able to hold on to these homes. But it's money that's holding them back.
How common is it for residents to have to sell their homes because the cost of repairs was so high and they didn't have the financial resources to fix it up? I mean, from your reporting, was this something that you ran into a lot?
Yeah, so we looked at the demographics of Island View, which was 89% Black in 2009 and is 67% Black. So we can't say that's specifically tied to home repair, but there is a home repair task force right now that's trying to quantify that. They're trying to figure out what resources are available in the city because, they're really disjointed right now, what needs there are. And also like the people who get into these programs, like tracking, like what other repairs do they need? What other things can happen? So, I would say the needs are pretty extensive.
And there are a lot of factors that led to this moment. I mean, you're talking about old homes. You're talking about the fact that a lot of Detroit residents are bringing in low incomes. Talk more about how we got to this point where thousands of residents need significant repairs done to their homes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a lot of disinvestment in the 20th century. We're talking about the tax foreclosure crisis that caused, more than 100,000 people lost their homes. That's a lot of displacement that happened. We're talking about, the Great Recession and just these stagnant incomes. So people are not making more money. And a lot of the people that we're talking to and a lot of the people who get into these programs are retired. They're seniors now, so their income is even further reduced.
They're
so
on fixed incomes.
Oh, yes, right?
Counting to the penny.
Oh, yeah. So, and also on top of that, you have to have good credit to get a loan. You have to have homeowners insurance to get some of these fixes. So if you need homeowners insurance to get a loan to get a roof, but you don't have the means to do all those things, they kind of get stuck in this circle. So
you talk to folks in Detroit's Island View neighborhood, as we've mentioned, where there is a very sharp contrast. You walk down the street and you will see a new shiny home next to one that is literally dilapidated, crumbling. Talk to me about what neighborhoods specifically are hit the hardest, in addition to Island View.
Yeah, so part of this project, we did some door knocking and flyering, and I have been getting calls from all over the city from people, but it's definitely, it's lower income areas, right? It's blacker neighborhoods that seem to be hit the hardest because, again, this is like an income-based issue. If you can afford to fix a hole in your roof, you're going to do it. No one wants to live with water coming in, with the mold, the rot. One of the people I talked to, Regina Hendricks, she waited 3 years to try to get help with her roof, finally got a loan for it. She's behind on those payments already. And also, they only fixed the roof. They didn't fix any of the damage inside. She still has holes in her ceiling. She still has mold and leftover residue. So I think it's just, it's all over the city, and there are more than one problem. It's not like you can just be like, oh, new roof and it fixes it. There are so many problems in these homes.
So you're pointing to an example of someone who tried to be proactive. And that didn't happen for her in terms of trying to repair her home, because I think there are some people who might look at these situations of folks living in homes that are in critical need of repairs, and they might say these folks were irresponsible. They didn't make repairs long ago when they should have. They let their homes fall into disrepair. It sounds like your reporting is telling us a different story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that all of the people I've talked to are very tapped in, very savvy. Like, I called the home repair line myself. There are no city programs available right now. And the ones that have been available in the past few years, I'm thinking of Renew Detroit and the Home Repair Task Fund. 25,000 people collectively applied to both of those programs, and they helped 3,000. So the need is so much bigger than we are able to do. I mean, last year, $20 million is what the city put towards home repair. And again, we need more than $1 billion to fix some of these homes. So I do think people are trying. They're going where they can. They call, they know, they show up to their community centers. There just isn't enough help either in the private or in the city sector.
You just said 25,000 people applied to a home repair program in Detroit, and it was only able to help 3,000 people. So that begs the question, how effective is this system? That is, after people apply with the city to repair their home, how long does it take for them to get that money and to make these repairs? I mean, it sounds like at the core, there are some big flaws in the system.
I mean, advocates are definitely pushing for different systems here. Even the Home Repair Task Force, they're trying to get people to collaborate, because within these programs, too, you have to individually apply to each program. So already that's a big step. But yeah, we are nowhere near meeting the need in the city. No matter what program opens up, pretty much immediately people are flocking to it. And there's not a ton of follow-up. Those people might get their new roofs and their new windows, but there's still so many people who are waiting and need it. And it's also, some of the people we talk to, they are focusing often on the most critical repairs or seniors. And so that's also part of, like, when people are like, oh, someone waited. They tried sooner, but when the city does help, it's usually, the worst of the worst.
It's the Metro on WDET. I'm Robin Vincent. My guest is Brianna Rice. She's a civic life reporter at Outlier Media. We're discussing an Outlier series she worked on titled Beyond Repair. It explores Detroit's home repair crisis and the many residents that it's touching. I do want to think about the folks who are trying to get help, but for certain reasons, there are stipulations that preclude them from doing so. I'm thinking specifically about Janine Spencer Gilbert. That's someone that Outlier spoke with. She lives on Detroit's east side. She has plumbing and electrical issues. Without help to fix her home, She may have to sell it, which she originally saved from foreclosure. The issue Janine faces is that she makes too much money for income-based programs, but too little to cover the costs herself. So how many Detroiters do you think are falling into this gray area where they don't qualify for something that they really need because their income's too high, but not so high as to be able to repair their home?
I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things I've heard talking to people, whether it's income, whether it's age, or sometimes it's another one. Only 40% of Detroiters have homeowners insurance. Sometimes that's part of it. Your home has to be insured, and you can't get your home insured unless you have a new roof, unless you have these things. So I think there are many, many things that are precluding people from being part of these programs. My colleague Kobe Levin also talked about, loan programs and stuff. That's, insurance, high credit score. All of these things kind of preclude people, but definitely there are many, many barriers, and age and income seem to be a big one. And one of the people I talked to, Gail Mitchell, she said she was denied from a program for being $47 over the limit. So she's like right there, really close, but still not considered, low income enough for that.
How frustrating. $47 over the limit. Someone is looking that closely and counting dollar for dollar. And that was in Island View, which I want to go back to Island View for another minute because it is a very interesting part of our city. Again, this is a neighborhood on Detroit's east side. It's near Belle Isle. And that area has this contrast of white newcomers who are moving into homes for $300,000 plus, and then some longtime Black residents who desperately need their homes repaired. I wonder what is the reaction of the long-timers to the newcomers, because you write about this a little bit and it's complicated.
Yeah, I think, to simplify it, Daisy Jackson said she can tell the newcomers by bikes and dogs, like this idea of what people look like. But I think it's more serious than that. I think people can see pretty clearly, new windows, new roof, these removed safety doors, those black metal doors that people had for years. These new houses don't need to have that anymore. And I think it's frustrating to longtime tenants while they're welcoming, and it seems like white newcomers are joining block clubs and being part of it. I mean, people are losing their homes because they can't afford a $20,000 roof, and then someone's fixing that house up and selling it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I think that all the people who are there stayed for a reason. They know it's valuable real estate. They know they can walk to Belle Isle, and they want to stay. But yeah, these conditions sometimes, the house looks vacant, but someone lives in it,
Yeah. I wonder how often this kind of tension about gentrification comes up in your reporting covering civic life in Detroit.
I think it comes up often. I think it's a touchy subject, but definitely I think longtime Detroiters are always talking about where the money pours into and what areas get renovated and where resources go. And also, there are a lot of new businesses near Island View. Gail Mitchell told me, what I want to see is a $1 pizza, a grocery store, more bus lines, but instead they're getting a cool, trendy bar, a James Beard Award-winning restaurant, new coffee shops galore, and it's not always someplace that people who've lived there a long time need or want.
So in other words, she does want to see development, but what she's seeing is that the newer residents are dictating what kind of development, and it does not reflect what she'd like to see.
Absolutely. I think that around the board, everyone I've talked to so far has said that.
The city shut down a home repair loan program. Mayor Mary Sheffield has said she plans to prioritize home repairs. So what is the city planning to do, Brianna?
We are hopefully going to find out next week on Monday, March 9th. Mary Sheffield, our new mayor, is going to unveil her first budget. And so we will see. Last year, Mayor Duggan put $20 million into home repair. Mary Sheffield has a chance here to really decide how she wants to prioritize home repair, especially now that we don't have any ARPA funding left. So she hasn't announced it yet, but we do know a home repair program for critical issues is opening this month. They haven't said yet who will be eligible or how much money or what repairs, but this month we should at least know a little something.
So the hope is that this is going to be something more expansive than what we've discussed so far. I mean, there are alternatives that Outlier looked into. The Strong Homes Loan Program, for example, which has helped some Milwaukee residents make repairs on their homes. Tell us about that in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, we had a 0% interest loan program here in Detroit. It gave out $16 million to people, but a lot of people were denied. What that looks like, a city-backed loan program will keep your interest rates between 0 and 3%, and a bank would do, 5% or more. So it's lower payments for people, and it also, there's a lot of options of, they can decide credit scores and all of that. So it's more expansive of who would actually be eligible for something like that. And yeah, we'll see if Detroit brings it back.
Brianna Rice is a civic life reporter at Outlier Media. She knocks on the doors. She talks to the people. The series she worked on is titled Beyond Repair. We'll link to it at WDET.org. Brianna, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
It's the Metro on WDET. Coming up, the HBO hit series Heated Rivalry has fans obsessed. Does its popularity mean Americans are falling for gay romance stories? We'll unpack that next. This is WDET-FM Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. And this is the Metro. We'll be right back after the news from NPR and WDET.